The divine prophecy and the sacred energy that's being recalculated for right now is balancing out many things all around, but within as without. So as things fall to the ground and make no sound, whereas other things fall to the ground and make a big sound, you are going to feel the cascading energies reverberating all around. But this does not mean that you are going to be a part of the prophecy in which they proclaim that is going to happen to thee. You have to understand objectively, prospectively, and directively that you are in alignment for something else because you are on divine consignment. You are the bridge between the in-between, which means you're in between all the seams, and right now you're moving into sacred destiny, which is not a destination. It is just part of things that were in stagnation, that have always been, that will always come to be in divine prophecy through divine order. You're all on an external time clock, and there is nothing but divine order. So you have to remember the sacred codes as your north nodes tell you where to go. The transitions of the in-between are being seen through many different layers and many different seams of what ought to be versus what is in your own paradigm and reality. The way that you shift the perspective in your own finality is where you will comprehend what's going all around in your reality. The healing that's going on, not only internally, externally, is that things do not seem as they are, and there is no assumption that can be at the door by far, because what you are thinking or what you expect or the way that you expect it is part of the divine clock that's working online. So when you assume or when you expect or when you try to pre-project the outcome, that is the outcome that will be in your personal destiny, because then you have interjected upon the divine prophecy in which was written for thee. And so when you assume or when you project the outcome, it doesn't leave room for the divine to do what the divine is trying to do in your lifetime for you. There is a new layer, there is a new calling, there is a new type of energy that is coming through. The falling is what's being said, and so you are being asked to fall in line with divine order, and that means divine flow. And so a lot of you guys are putting notions to bed and starting to take motion and starting to be the active manifester in your personal reality based upon the level of perception in your conscious awareness. And so that is part of the new energy and reflection. And remember, we always have to reflect the energy first to tell the divine universe what we are reflecting back to it so it can reflect to us. And we are feeling the new, and we are the new set and the new layer of what is going to be the bridge cascading through of the ending and the beginning. And those of you that know, that have sat here with me for the last 6 years, 3 years, 5 years, 4 years, I have always said that you are a part of the ending and the new beginning. And this is the new. And in order for the new America, and in order for Jesus holding the baby wrapped in the flag that came to me many months ago, telling me that it is the new America and the birth of the new America and the birth of the new earth, it can only be understood on a quantum level of interstellar energy that the new has to feel and the new has to happen with us first. So in order to believe, you have to be able to receive, and in order to receive, you have to be able to see in the in-between and the unseen of what's going on in multiple dimensions of reality. And so this is where you are seeing things now, not from this side, not from that side, but from the above side, where you can see all things playing out. And this is what we have spoken about, that you will see but not be a part of in that reality. The Capricorn moon is cascading D. The Mercury energy is cascading D. The Uranus moving from Taurus, the activations, okay, that are trying to ignite inside of you are bringing back sacred codes of past lives, of blueprints, of north nodes. And these codes have always been inside your DNA. It's just been living dormant for so long because you've been led astray. You've been led astray because of the fact is that the games that they play and the societal constructs that have been placed upon your mind. So when we talk about suppression and oppression, what happens is outside societal lines and outside your own mind, what happens is you are suppressed by an identity or someone else's request of you or somebody else's beliefs of you. So then therefore that suppresses your subconscious, because what happens then is you take that identity or that imprint on and then you become obsessed with it. You believe that that is you, and then in the identity of you, you become oppressed by taking it on and making you think that it is you. In reality, it is not of you. It is a past place. It is something someone else thought of you, and it is their own thought. It is not of you. But then you oppress yourself and you forget to take accountability upon yourself to free yourself of the bondage that never was there in the first place, that you chose to take on and put on yourself. So now you're being asked to remove the bondages of thyself. In multiple different ways, right? So it's assumption. It's the way that you used to think things were. They're giving me a spoken word and they want you to use this as part of an activation, and that the spoken word that they're giving me is, I used to believe it was this way, but now I receive that it's this way in this new timeline of energy. So I used to believe it was that way, or I used to assume it was that way, but now I understand that this is the new and the new reality that's coming through. So now you're learning that it's new, but based upon your own assumptions. So this is the splitting that you may be feeling of the two, where you realize that you go back to an old pattern, but you catch yourself quickly and come back in line. The flow of what you know is coming out this time. So the flow of what you know, meaning that it's just ebbing and flowing in between timelines right now. Okay, they want me to speak on this, so I'm going to speak on this per their request, because it seems to be a big thing in the collective right now. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hold on, they just gave me a vision per their request. And yes, it does have something to do that was rewritten or written, but it has to do with the end, because that's part of the prophecy in the new. To the depths of what comes next. The depths of your soul are so very old, it's wrapped in gold. Behold, the stories that were left untold. All is about to unfold. This is something you've been told. Your heart is so very bold. Don't believe all you have been sold and told. Nothing more can be bought, borrowed, sold, or left untold. These are the stories of gold about to unfold that have never been bought, borrowed, sold, or told. This is a prophecy so very, very old, and it all starts with the gold. In 2023, I was given divine prophecy, and I was given divine prophecy that, of course, the fiat dollar would be gone, and it's one of my pinned videos, and I've talked about this for a long time, but I don't speak unless they ask me to speak about those things again, because I don't feel like there's any type of reference that needs to be, but they're asking me to, so I'm going to lead with that. So in 2023, I was given divine prophecy, and it's underneath, there's two different tabs that I have a playlist. There's one that's Divine Wisdom of Sophia, with the voice of Sophia. The other one is prophecy, and these are prophecies that have come up and through me 2023 and prior to that. what they were showing me in 2023 is that the fiat dollar would be gone. Of course, we know that. But they were also showing me that it would not be Bitcoin. It would not be cryptocurrency, okay? Because it's built upon false activities and false prophecies. And so that construct, regardless of what it is going to rise and fall again. Because it is exactly, in a sense, energetically, exactly like the stock market. And when they gave me prophecy, they showed me a woman being backed by a man, okay, who was helping her with this plan. It's not me. I don't deal with the construct of finances, okay, when it comes to that. So it has nothing to do with me, but I know of these things. And this man was helping this woman get this coin up and moving. And it's not XRP, it's not Bitcoin, it is a physical thing. When you speak of Bitcoin, it's a digital thing, it's a digital currency, right? So that means you put your money into it, it grows, right? But etherically, nobody knows where that truly goes. And what is it truly backed by? Because not a lot of it is backed by a physical thing, which would be the gold, and which was always here, that was bought, borrowed, sold, and stories about it left untold. And so they gave me the divine prophecy of a physical coin, and the physical coin was gold, and the physical coin had a number 1 on it. And so, because I want you to understand and know that this big boom that everybody's talking about is part of the fall before the rise. And so the reason that you're seeing the digital currency, the blockchain, all of that stuff has to peak before it becomes weak, okay? And then therefore you are talking about something physical. Because in the experience, it's not just, when you talk about the Bitcoin currency, yes, it's an energy exchange, but you're putting money into it. There is no physical thing that is backed by it. You pull your money out. What if it doesn't exist anymore? In the way in which we've been told that nothing that can be, that has been or will be bought, borrowed, sold any longer. And it all starts with the gold. And so you have to remember that in the divine prophecy, we came into a land of abundance. We came into a land of agreement with the divine. And there was more than enough for everyone to have, to hold, to abundancies, to flourish, to live divinely within their communities. There was enough crystals, there was enough golds, there was enough metals, there was enough lands, there was enough food, there was enough herbs, there was enough of all of that to sustain every single one of God's children. But then you have to understand that the reptilian mind frame of the masculine patriarchal system came in and split the seams and made the divide of the in-between. And then the divide of the in-between has been off balance and offline for so many lifetimes that it is not the quote-unquote the feminine taking over, but it is the rise of the feminine to lead in that existence of the prophecy. Okay, he comes back as she. It's all in divine order, you'll see. And that energy then is part of what's helping the balance of the patriarchal system and the matriarchal system in which it always was. This goes back to so many ancient traditions, Mesopotamia, all of these things. It was not one way or the other. It was sacred divine unionship within yourself and within one another. And that is what the mother and the father is returning to. And for those of you that like to connect with the Holy Spirit, Yeshua is all a part of that. It's the mysticism, it's the interstellar, it's the physical, it's the soul, it's the remembrance. And one of the promises that I was told a very long time ago, back in 2020, was we get to remember this time. We get to remember everything. And that is a process of this request. You are truth seekers. You ask for nothing but the truth, so you can't get anything but the divine truth in which you've asked to be seated in front of you. You don't care what the truth is. You just want to know the truth. And so the more that there is a divide, the more that things cannot coincide. But the more that you ask for the sacred knowledge and the wisdom and the truth to be shown to you, the more that you balance the masculine and feminine inside of you, the more that the divine has nothing more to do but then to respond to the masculine and the feminine energy of the energies that are going on in all ways, in all plays, to make that a physical process. When you manifest, it comes from divine intention. It comes with no apprehension. It comes with a pureness of sincerity and clarity and vision. And it comes through the seeding. This is why you feel it first. Then you start believing. Then you start seeing it. And then when you start seeing it, that's when the divine then starts to reflect that request. Because not only are you intentionalizing it because you're feeling it, you're believing it, you're receiving it, you're being seeded it. You're being seeded it so that it can come up through you, because only you are being given the divine prophecy for you through your visuals to keep you in direction of what you are here to do. This goes way past the collective understanding of what's going on around you. You have a bigger part, and this is where it starts. It starts with that feeling. The feeling is the believing, and that's what they're doing here with crypto too. If you can get as much people to believe in that thing, then that thing will eventually have to physically manifest, right? So it starts with the blockchain, it starts with the digital thing, and then people put money into it, and people then turn it into a physical thing. It's a manifestation. And if you have enough people to believe that we are equal, and this is part of the second sequel, what do you think is going to happen in a sacred energy exchange with the divine of what you will no longer put up with in your lifeline, in your lifetime, in your reality this time? And so you're coming into unity. This is why they're all talking to you about community, because you're coming into unity with the sacred divine, not only within yourself, but within all others around you this time. And I want to speak something from the Gospel of Thomas, and it's actually something Yeshua spoke in the Gospel of Thomas. And no, it's not a joke, because I've said this for probably about 3 years now. Where two become one, the one become the sum. Now that was the verbiage that was given to me, and this is actually in part of the Gospel of Thomas, and it is actually written I love death water. It is the only water that I feel is so fucking clean and so fucking pure. Okay, give me a minute. Hang on, guys. I went through this the other day. 1 second here. There might be one more back in my notes. Or not. Yep, okay. And I got to read it to a couple people yesterday. And it is exactly what I said, but in a completely different translation. And that's why I want to read it to you, because I want to read you the real text that I found per the request, because they were asking me to dive deeper into that. And it's listed in the Gospel of Thomas, which is one of the sacred translations that were taken out, along with many others, because it casted many doubts upon the church and of the patriarchal system. So that's why they take these things out. Okay, here we go. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Here it is. And it's things that Yeshua spoke, and that's part of why they keep these translations out. So here we go. In the Gospel of Thomas, saying 22, Jesus saw some babies nursing. He said to his disciples, "These nursing babies are like those who enter the kingdom." They said to him, "Shall we then, as children, enter the kingdom?" Jesus said to them, "When you make the two one, and when you make the inner as the outer, and the outer as the inner, and the above as the below, and when you make the male and the female one and the same, so that the male not be male and the female not be female, and when you fashion eyes in the place of an eye, and a hand in the place of a hand, and a foot in the place of a foot, and a likeness in the place of the likeness, then you will enter thy kingdom." They're asking me to read that again and slow it down for you to process. I've said for a long time, where two become one, the one become the son. In the way that it was given to me and spoken to me. What was specifically spoken was this. Yeshua saw some babies nursing. He said to his disciples, "These nursing babies are like those who enter the kingdom." They said to him, "Shall we then as children enter the kingdom?" Yeshua said to them, "When you make the two one, and when you make the inner as the outer, and the outer as the inner, and the above as the below, and when you make the male and the female one and the same, so that the male not be male, and the female not be female, and when you fashion eyes in the place of an eye, and a hand in the place of a hand, and a foot in the place of a foot, and a likeness in the place of a likeness, then you will enter the kingdom," which is nothingness. That's nothingness. Because when you make the male not the male, and you make the female not the female, and when you fashion the eyes in the place of an eye, where two become one, the one become the son. As somewhat we were taught that 0 plus 0 equals 0. So if you were in the place of the nothingness, there is no separation. There's only vibration and understanding per your request, because you keep asking for the truth and the holiness. So that's what you're going to get. Thank you so much for your love. And this is the conscious awareness that you're stepping into from above. All right. I just had to say that because that's what they were asking me to get to. You are becoming into oneness in all things that you see, all things that you do. But they used it against you. And this is part of what they talk about in spirituality when they say taking your power back. And when you take your power back, it's because you're at the 0 point process. There is no separation. There is no difference. It's only you seeing the vibration from a higher awareness, because they know not what you do, but you understand what's going on all around and within and out, because you've had the experience. You've had the rise of the consciousness to understand. You are being given a different set of eyes. The divine is doing a completely different thing, where it doesn't subsidize. It doesn't subsidize. It doesn't separate. It only identifies. It just identifies the energy. This is why your energy readers, you read the energy, you read the in-between. You feel the vibration of what's being said, to feel, to be able to receive, to be able to believe. And this is why the spiritual discernment is so important, and you had to learn it. You not only had to learn your energy, but the energies around you, and the monitoring things, and the things that they play, and how they play, and how all of those games. You had to master yourself. I tried to teach people for so long, the more you understand yourself, the more you'll master yourself. The more you master yourself, you can master everything else around you. And it's not in a manipulation way, and it's not in an overpowering way. It's in a way of grace and tact, because you understand the energy of the flow of the universe and how it goes, just in divine flow and divine order. So then you are just coming in and online with a higher consciousness and a higher vibration this time. So there's many of things that are going to intertwine, and there's many of things that you're going to see that fall, that make no sound at all, and you're going to see things that fall that make a sound. So when they say sound here, they mean vibration, which means you're going to feel the vibration. And so when they speak in those wordings, you have to be able to understand the dialect and be able to break it down upon layer and layer and layer, because you're not just speaking to the human, you're not just speaking to the spirit, you're speaking to the coding, you're speaking to the soul, you're speaking to the interstellar being, okay? You're speaking to the oneness, you're speaking to the entire wholeness of the vibration. But in order for things to make sense, per the divine's request, I speak of all things in different layers here, so that I may not be speaking to this part of your human awareness. I may be speaking here. I may not be speaking to your ear, but I'm going to be speaking to your heart. And that's where you feel those things, and that's where those things vibrate. And then you're to take it back with your team, and you're to discern. My partner and I were laughing today because we even came to the conclusion that we divine on a bag of M&Ms at the grocery store. No bullshit. Everything that we do comes down to divination with a higher state of mind, with a higher consciousness, with a connection. We don't make any moves in this household unless it's per the divine's request. That's it. That's the vibration. Even at the grocery store, we're like, can we get a bag of M&Ms? Should we get a bag of M&Ms? No, we don't need it. It's that vibrational. There's a white butterfly. It's that vibrational. So you're learning the difference of discerning and leaning into thy own understanding versus the obedience and the surrenderance of the process. A lot of you are in what they're telling me transgression. Transgression is a space where you have learned the lesson, but you're trenching through the outer layer of the process because it's the reverberation of the energy, like almost like a fog of jello that you're walking through, that you're almost out on the other end. This full moon energy, come the 13th, you'll vibrate in a different way. Again, is what they're showing me. Everything ebbs and flows with astrologically and the energies. Okay. There's not a lot of things that are coming back. That's part of it. Like, so a lot of you have already done that energy work and have done the energy work of people, places, and things that Mercury isn't going to bring for you what it has brought for you in the past. What it's actually doing this time, because we had Mercury right next to the sun that gave us a Kazemi in May, that energy is completely repowered, because when planets get within 0, 1, 2, 3 degrees of the sun, it gets re-energized, it gets repowered, right? So if you understand what Mercury and it does and the energy of that, right, a lot of people take it and they're like, oh shit. This time you're going to have a different vibration of it with it, because you're on the other side of those lessons and you're on the outside of the transgression. So you're going to start and see the different blessings, and the blessings start with you in your perception to allow that flow of whatever it is that you're manifesting to come in, as you know. So for a lot of you, just wait for this transition. It's a 3-day, 4-day process. Mercury is giving you a lot of requests. It's actually blessing you this time. I say that because Hermes is coming to me. Hermes is one of my best friends. Hermes gave me a divine message a while ago, and he speaks to me a lot of the time. I love to do tributes to Hermes. I even have Mercury coins. And he's been a buddy of mine for a really long time, energetically speaking, understanding what I'm working with. But this time it's not so much about the lessons, it's about the blessings. And the blessings are because your perspective has changed. How you handle things, how you deal with things, how you don't put things on the back burner. Yes, a lot of you work great under pressure is what I'm being told. But iron sharpens iron, forged in fire. And you've learned from a lot of those experiences of the physical. And now it's a transitional process because you're actually going to be blessed this time. Doors that you didn't think were going to open for you are going to open for you. Things where you thought maybe you were going to get shit on, it's now the opposite way. This is why they're asking you to have no assumption about how the energy plays. Uranus being in Taurus for an 8-cycle year, a lot of you have been in this 8-cycle, even if you don't have Taurus placements. Uranus in Taurus is very slow moving process, but it's about a lot of teachings and a lot of lessons too. And per it leaving Taurus, moving into Gemini, it actually kind of gives you a sweet little kiss. And this is because now Gemini is very fast moving, and you probably already felt the energy speed up, the passion speed up. This is that accumulation that you're feeling of the transitions, making the movement move. You are energy in motion, and when your emotions are stagnant, when your emotions get caught up in the physical, you can't make the movement move in the divine order, because your emotions, your mindset, your thought process keeps you stuck. It's you. It all boils down to you. At the end of the day, it boils down to you. You know this to be true because you've seen the patterns come up and over and up and over and up and over again. Mercury, though, is blessing you, and it's because you've learned a lot. You've learned about yourself. I'll give you a prime example. I'm probably one of the most realest prophets, ministers, and priests that you'll ever meet. And I'll tell you why. Because in reference to things that I am exactly like you, I open up that doorway and I open up that space because it's important to. So I'm shaman by trade. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. But I am half Hebrew, half native, so it comes in a very obscure way of merging all things in all ways. So when you take this side and you try to compromise a piece of you, it doesn't work authentically for you because you are not in divine flow of what you come from and what you are and what you know. So in this, speaking of this process, I had an opportunity to have an experience. And my partner, my husband, will tell you I am a firecracker and I am a force to be dealt with when there is unjust and there is unfairness. I've had to learn how to watch my mouth because I could hurt people very easily without even understanding that I was hurting them based upon the given gifts of my own ability. And it made sense to me coming from a very young teenager place as to why my mouth always got me in trouble when I was a kid. I always had to have the last word. I always knew everything, but I did know. But it was used in ego. In a way in which gave my little survivor child ego mechanism a place of prestige, a place to feel better than thee because they know not what they do and they don't understand me, so I'm in survival mode anyway. So I had an experience where I got to go to a grocery store here and they wanted to charge me double for my order. As my husband's checking out, I'm bagging the groceries. And he's looking at me and he takes a breath. This poor man, because he just knows what's coming, and he's like, babe, don't. And I just can't help myself. I can't help myself because it's unjust. I don't care where it's coming from. I just can't help myself. But the point is that it's the deliverance and the vibration in which you give that unjust energy justice. And my first reaction was not of pureness. My first reaction was, are you fucking kidding me? You want me to pay you again after it already says posted in my account, and I'm supposed to trust and believe that that's going to come back? I don't trust shit but the divine, and the divine is telling me not to trust it, so I'm not going to trust it. I looked at my husband, I said, I got to go outside. I need to go outside. I need to go outside before I get in trouble. I know me. I understand me. And the few spoken words that I've spoken, fuck. And I'm not paying you a fuck again. And I'm not doing this. I knew where I was headed, so I needed to go outside. And I had to talk to the heavens. I called in my chief and I said, we're going to breathe for a minute. We're going to pause. We're going to pause. And I got to take, you know, of course, on my way out, I'm sure, like, I looked like a tornado, a rip-roar tornado, you know. And on my way, I started to breathe, and I started to pause, and I started to reflect. And the very first thing I heard was, do not assume. Do not assume that it is the past vibrations in which used to ensue upon you because of the things and the transgressions and the lessons and all of that. Now it's only time for blessings. Nothing can forsake you unless you forsake yourself. You understand that now. So I took a deep breath and I called the bank and I said, this, so on and so forth. And they said, yeah, it's posted to the account, but there's no reversal yet. And I said, there's no reversal yet. I'm not paying you again. I've already called the bank. I went, I called the bank again. And this time I stood next to the manager, and my banking official sat there and said, now we see it being refunded. I looked at the manager, I looked at the lady that was cashing me out, and I said, I have no problem paying you again, because now I understand and know that it's going to be refunded. I also thanked them in the face and in the eyes for teaching me a lesson. I also thanked them for being a blessing. They obviously have this issue a lot, is what they explained to me over and over again. But in the past paradigm, I don't care how much somebody tells me something if I don't see it from my own eyes, right? That's a past paradigm. That's an assumption. And in that moment, I got to be taught something. And I got to be taught something and shown something over again. And in that request, no, I did not act and behave in the ways in which I used to interject and act. But I also understood me, and I understood what I needed to do for me in those moments to be what I needed to be and to handle situations which used to baffle me but that don't baffle me anymore based upon spirituality and divineness. And so, per the divine's request, I got to see within my face that experience. I needed to share that experience to you because you cannot assume that things are the way that they seem right now in certain realities around you. And a lot of you are having this time because things don't seem like they're going your way right now. Things don't seem like you're going to be on the winning spectrum of things. But the energy that is coming to bring to you is more than you will understand what is available to you. Give it a few more days. Let this energy settle in. A lot of you are still feeling the Kazemi energy. Just because we have the Kazemi that day doesn't mean you're going to completely feel the effects that day. Those effects last up to 2 to 4 weeks. We still are in the effect of the eclipse energy too that we've had. That lasts for up to 6 months. So there is a lot of reverberation sound that is playing out from these planets that have already come about. The Magna asteroid, it's already come through and processed through the entire zodiac. And that was part of the rise of the divine feminine. It's called the Magna asteroid, but it stands for Magdalene asteroid, which wake up certain codes and certain north nodes within your divine feminine cycle, within your DNA. And they said recycle. So what this means to me is that there's a recycle of energy that is coming up in a different way for you to be able to see through things and be able to use these things. The energies available to you can manifest many things instantaneously. There have been people around me that I know that have manifested things in a matter of a week, a 2-week, instant. And this is part of the floodgates opening. This is where you see and you understand, when you don't resist it, what it allows the divine energy to do for you. And when you add resistance to assuming or interjecting how you think that thing's going to go, or the expecting, then you don't allow the anointing to be able to come through, because you've already told the universe what it's going to do, rather than allowing the universe to do what it needs and wants to do for you. So from a higher state of consciousness, of universal awareness, that is what is playing out right now in astronomy and astrology. It's playing out in the physical, because you can feel that bubbling up of energy. There's a lot of messages, a lot of visions, a lot of dreams that are coming to fruition. And there are a lot of things that are deeper in layers, where you're getting more in-depth dreams, more in-depth vision, more in-depth communication, more in-depth feeling and vibration. So I have a request for a healing to do this morning, as there has been a lot of temporal headaches and frontal lobe headaches that are going on. These are part of the activations. So it's not that it's blocked. It's just that there's not an open flow there. And it's not that you even realize that you're blocking it. It's the realization of how it feels when you open it. And when you open it, the divine flow happens to where you don't feel pressure here anymore. It's just an overflowing. It doesn't hurt anymore. And it doesn't reverberate to the temples as well. So I have a donation for a healing for that vibration. So we're going to take care of that here. And if any of you would like to step into that as well, you're more than welcome to. The link is in the bio today. It's not about grounding as much as you think, because a lot of people then try to ground that energy. You have to remember that you're a vessel that has vortices. The energy centers on your body are here and here, front and back, right? Above, below, all around. The chakra centers here are the energy centers within your body, and they're really no bigger than, they're almost like an avocado seed. But they hold a vortice of energy in the front and the back. And then your auric field resonates upon that, but then outside energy resonates upon your auric field as well. It's the divine as above, so below the auric field, right? It's all around. What happens is a lot of people go, oh, I need to ground this information in. Grounding really doesn't help that information come in. Grounding is about stabilizing your emotions and stabilizing your thought process to where you're not overthinking or over-exaggerating or over-dramatizing anything, right? It's a foundation. But when you're working with activations, and you're working with activations of the third eye and of the cerebellum, which we've spoken about in Egyptian context related to Isis, many of you know that there are sacred DNA codes and there are sacred activations within the cerebellum that are also activating your north node, which is part of your destiny. So what we need to do is we need to purify, cleanse that energy, and then we need to rebalance it, right? So the opening not only of the third eye, front and back, but also the crown is important here. Because if this energy has nowhere to go, then it's just going to release and then build back up and come back. There's no true release within the auric field for it to become purified, clean, and resonate at the same vibrancy as the third eye. So it's not just one place that you have to work on when you're working with the overflow of the third eye. You have to work with the crown as well. You also have to work in the cerebellum region, because people are going to hear this. Now, what's very important is when you're working with the third eye and the cerebellum and the temporal area, you're also working with clairaudience. So you have to intertwine clairaudience, the hearing. Well, that's governed by the throat. The throat chakra, it helps govern the clairaudience. So now we not only have to work on the third eye and the throat and the crown. So you can't just work with one energy of a chakra center and think it's going to be balanced out, because there's other vibrations that connect to those things. And what happens, a lot of you try to ground that energy, is what they're showing me. And when you ground that energy, you're trying to go down with that energy, or you ground, which is great. And it does help your visual space because of your occipital nerve that goes back into the back of your head that reverberates your visual space. That's great. But it doesn't help the overwhelming of energy that you're hearing and that you're trying to connect with and that you're feeling here, and the openness of this energy. A lot of people don't use their chakra vortices appropriately. They think of it as a disc, and they think of it as a one-way output or a one-way stream, and it's not. It goes right here. This is the in-between. It's a vortice. It looks like a funnel. You put two funnels together, and that's what we're talking about here. That energy can be funneled through the vortice. The vortice, that energy can come in through the front and go out the back, and come in through the back and go out the front simultaneously. So it's a fluid flow of energy like this, right? In this direction and this direction simultaneously. When you open that fluid flow of energy, okay, in a completely different way, you're going to reach a higher state of consciousness. When you sit in breath work and meditation, a lot of people resist meditation because they think they're supposed to see something in the vibration. Not necessarily. What that is for you to come into alignment and align your vortices and align your chakras and stabilize your energy so you can be more open and more receptive to the symbology and the signs and the wonders and the miracles and the visions. And when you work with one space, you have to work with all spaces. You can't just work within these centers. So when they are relating this to, there is a new that's being woken up, a new set of healers, a new set of prophets. They don't conform to any one way because they understand that it's a vibration of all things intertwining. I got to sit with beautiful people as I mentor them. And what's funny is I'm going to ask you the same thing. You're all probably expecting me to do something. You're all probably expecting me to move my hands or move the energy. I already have. There's no resistance there any longer. It is. Take a breath and feel it. It's gone. I've already done it. I don't have to do anything. The energy in me that moves through me allows it to be because I intentionalize it with divine order. Now, what's going to exist in this process is you're feeling something in your throat. You probably coughed. You might burp. You might need to get a drink. There might be a release there of pressure. Maybe you're going to hit a new higher note when you sing. I don't know. But you're also going to hear more tones. You're also going to hear more vibrations. Sometimes they're showing me that your ears pop, and that's where they're equalizing your equilibrium. A lot of you hear certain tones, high-pitched tones. Those high-pitched tones are not something for you to physically, humanly resonate with. It's a programming of a frequency within your DNA that's activating those things to be. So I got to sit with mentees yesterday, and usually in my mentor sessions, there's not only prophecy, ministering, and healing that goes on. I tell them we're going to do energy work at the end of the session, and we're going to put them in alignment. And probably about 25 minutes left. Yesterday it happened 3 different times. They all 3 look at me and they go, well, aren't you going to do energy work? And I said, take a breath. And they're like, I don't feel it anymore. I said, exactly. It's already done. So then, therefore, when you understand the energy, when I see something, and I see something that's unjust, and I see something out of alignment, I'm already intentionalizing that energy to be and to come into alignment, to intercede, to give you exactly what you need based upon your own higher destiny, the highest benefit, the highest order, because you are no different than me. So when I sit there and I speak it and I intentionalize it, it all comes back into alignment. There's nothing more that I have to do. The energy of the headache, the energy of the higher pitched tones are going to be manageable now. Always in equalization and equilibrium and vibration. They've always shown me that when those tones come through, they're bringing their level down. You're learning how to bring your level up. So the vibration can meet and not be stuck. So you can hear, so you can feel, so you can understand what's being communicated. Now, if you understand energy and you understand vibration, you understand that spirit speaks backwards. They don't speak in the ways they said sound, right? Well, we have to be the interpretation. When they say sound, they give me visualization of showing what they mean. In me, I have to be able to hear it, see it, and feel it for it to be truth to me. So then therefore, when I hear it, see it, and feel it, I know authentically what I'm speaking is truth. And so therefore, what's that opening you up for in an alignment is for you to be able to receive the next steps for you. Now it's up to you of what you do in divine obedience with those next steps, because a lot of you have been asking for direction, have been asking for guidance, have been asking for what do I do next. Those next steps will be shown to you when you just start and put yourself in motion of what you feel like you should do. The feeling of what you should do is going to lead to the next thing that's going to open that thing up for you, and it may not look like you expect it to, but once you cross that threshold of that door, you're going to see that it was for way more. Okay? No, I apologize. They're asking me to check something. Oh, God love you. Miss Hopper, how are you today? Alright. It's nice to see you. Okay. They're asking me to speak over you right now, Jen, because it's like you're trying to figure out the how and the when. And the how and the when is not up to you. You just need to start and intentionalize the move that you need to make. The how is for the divine to figure out. You have to trust the process that you're going to be exactly where you need to be, how you need to be there. Now, there's something about your feet, but your feet are tingling and they feel more hot than normal. Okay? Water is going to be very good for you right now to put your feet in. You feel like you're lost, but you're not lost, and this is the heart center space. You're leaving spaces without a trace, which is like almost like the energy of the thief in the night, and that's okay. That's what you need to do for you to be all right. A lot of the confusion that you're feeling in your mind is confusion based upon the energy around you. No fault. No fault. It's energy that you're picking up on telepathically too. So give yourself that gentle respect to separate your energy from others too. And your higher mind is coming more online. So you are activating more of your star chakra. Conclusions. Okay, so they're telling me that you have conclusions that are not of the divine, and you're trying to lean into your own understanding right now, which is not the sacred time. The sacred time is to lean into the divine's understanding. There's a lot of play and there's a lot of energy that is trying to come up in you to connect you back to passionate things and what Jen truly is and what things Jen identifies with. A lot of star energy right now, which is healing you and healing others all around. Give yourself that time to kind of like flow downward. Breathe in, push the energy downward, thank you, and repeat again. Opening up the chakras within your feet are going to allow that heat to deplete. So I'm going to do that. It's right in the center, which is the worst of it. Thank you. And now that's going to release. That was more on the right foot. Left foot. Left foot, it's more of the ball of the toe. Pressure. Thank you. And there we go. Now that is open. Okay, so a lot of times people don't even pay attention to their feet. And the feet are where the chakra points come out of to be able to release that energy and receive. Your feet were holding on to that vibration. Okay. You're in a very, very soft place right now. And so it's like they're showing me you being handled with kid gloves. White gloves. You're on the road to redemption. Redeeming yourself from past places that you didn't give yourself enough credit and that you didn't empower yourself. This transition may feel gross, but it's actually you regaining your sovereignty, your belief in yourself. I'm going to say this one more time, and I love saying this because this was given to me over 12, 15 years ago. In order to do esteemable things, we have to do things that don't always feel good. When you're gaining self-esteem, you have to do esteemable things. Doesn't necessarily mean that it feels good. It just means that it's the authenticity of things for you. What's right for you is not going to necessarily be right for anybody else. This is the state of comparison of thyself. And that's what you're having to remove. Your first issue is thinking like you're like everybody else. And Miss Hopper, you're not. So you have to treat yourself a little differently than others. Many are not going to understand you. You're going to be the scapegoat and the blame for many. Oh, well, I did this because she did that. And I acted this way because she did. It's a blessing, it's not a curse. You'll understand later on why. But right now it hurts. And it hurts because it's rebuilding you and reshaping you. Not out of survival, but out of revival. Out of holy revival. the road to redemption doesn't have any lines. It's all variables. It's all flow. It's all about connecting with the divine from the inside out to reflect then the outside in.